Shoot him. Kill him. Yeah, throw some godforsaken grenades at those assholes. In Stalker Anomaly, there are hundreds of different ways to engage with your enemies when in direct combat. You could take the wild man demolition approach and slam a Nemirov vodka in one swig, feel a little goofy and go on a gun-fueled rampage. Or maybe you like playing Escape from Tarkov as an itty-bitty rat and scouring the fields for camouflage, surprising your enemies with the element of, well, surprise. But what if there was another way to play Anomaly? It's not entirely encouraged, but melee combat is a fully functional and effective mechanic that is implemented throughout the entirety of the game, and melee weapons can be pretty common to come across when looting stashes or fallen stalkers. The reason melee combat isn't encouraged in a game like Anomaly is due to a multiverse of reasons, but the biggest one is simple. Your enemies have guns and you don't. Let's say you're stranded somewhere in the ocean. Would you swim directly into a shark's mouth while holding a fucking Bowie knife? I didn't think so. Whenever you charge a stalker out in the open, you're essentially getting down on your knees and begging for them to kill you. Stalkers can be insanely accurate as well, depending on their reputation amongst other factors. This begs the question that nobody but myself asked when I was bored and roaming the open radioactive landscape of the zone. Can you beat Anomaly using only a melee weapon? And if so, what about the axe? The axe is the most powerful melee weapon within Stalker Anomaly, but it also has the slowest windup and swing. Even if you're just a hair off, you'll miss the attack and your enemy will just murder you in cold blood, then walk away laughing at you. There's a basic light attack and a heavy attack with most melee weapons, but I haven't been able to realistically find stats that prove the heavy attack does more damage. Half the time I just get lucky and land a crit on a zombie or something, but with actual human enemies shooting at me with guns, this challenge is not going to be easy. So please join me as I attempted to play through Anomaly's main quest line, Living Legend, by using only an axe. But whoa, comrades. Let's slow our roll for a minute. This isn't just any other basic challenge. The rules are as follows. Rule number 1, obviously enough, no guns. Pretty self-explanatory, I can't use a single firearm during the gameplay. If I do, I'll have to restart from scratch and redo the entire thing again. Rule number 2, easy mode is active. Can't really justify this one, I'm dog shit at 98% of the games I play, but using an axe in Anomaly is only something a masochist would do. So I decided to take it easy on myself and play on the easiest difficulty. Rule number 3, guns and ammo can be picked up and sold for money. This will help me keep my gear and supplies in check at all times, as visiting traders is the most effective and safest way to get clean, delicious food. Rule number 4, the axe has to remain in my inventory. This basically means that if I accidentally get too close to a stalker and he knocks the axe out of my hand, which happens every 5 seconds, I'm allowed to go into debug mode and spawn a new one in my inventory. I figured it's a lot easier than trying to find the original axe whenever it got knocked from my fucking hands. Rule number 5, fast travel is allowed. I'm implementing this rule because I found it pretty hard to travel all over the place with 90% of the enemies in the game having ranged weaponry. Plus, the directional arrow is broken on my minimap and sometimes points to a big nothing sandwich, constantly throwing me off and tricking me into thinking I'm going the right way, so I'm definitely going to utilize the fast travel where I can. Rule number 6, bullet time is allowed. It doesn't grant a huge advantage to the player, but bullet time is an optional mod you can download from moddb. The only thing it really does that's helpful with the axe is it gives you a temporary boost in speed whenever it's activated. I figured I would only use this rule if I absolutely needed to, but believe it or not, there were a few moments that I had to use it. And finally, rule number 7, friendly NPCs can kill enemies. Since it doesn't count towards your overall personal kills on the board, I allowed certain NPCs to fire at enemies that might have been sneaking up on me or seen me from a distance. Anyways, with those rules in play, let's dive right into the zone as a loner with an axe and see just what awaits our lumberjack asses. Well, speaking to Doctor about Strelok's hideout location is easy enough, but being inside the Agroprom underground wasn't exactly a walk in the fucking park. This place is crawling with bandits, and you'd think that swinging a large blunt object into their collarbones would be an instant kill, but no. You really have to aim for the head if you want to kill someone in one hit with the axe. You'll have to time your swings and make some awkward, fast-paced movement in order to avoid as much gunfire as possible and hack away at them like a maniacal psychopath. Eventually, I killed them, but then the mutants in the lower levels of the Agroprom underground started to jump me every second they could. A bloodsucker insta-killed me before I could blink, and a Psysucker sucked my fucking guts out. Ugh, now what's he doing to me? Just standing on my corpse? Fucking asshole. I was able to run past them. It takes some time and patience, especially because the mutants are randomized at this segment, so you'll never really know what you're about to face. I got into Strelok's hideout and found his secret documents. On my way out of the underground, I accidentally killed a sucker in slow motion. It was pretty cool, as unintentional as it was. The next task is to get the Psy helmet from Professor Sakharov. Of course, you'll need 17,500 rubles to get the fully calibrated helmet, but at this point I did some small side quests and sold some items I wasn't currently using and was able to pay for it. Wait 2 days and finally it's time to raid the Miracle Machine. I had to run through the steps multiple times thanks to a fucking snork, but eventually I made it by without so much as a scratch. The axe isn't all that bad as it turns out. That is, until you get to the barrier. After you speak to Gatekeeper, there's a sudden attack from a large group of monolith, which you have to help defend. Using the bullet time, it wasn't too hard to kill the monolith here. In fact, I actually breezed right through it. But remember, the challenge is to complete the game using only an axe, not to kill every single enemy I come across. So often, I use the bullet time for the sake of running past enemies rather than engaging them. Whether they be distracted by other NPCs or maybe other mutants, I use that to my advantage a lot. Anyways, I survived the ambush and drove my Paul Bunyan axe into the monolithian skulls, and now we're tasked with turning off the Brain Scorcher. Again, this part was a lot easier than the Miracle Machine. Just sprint past all the bloodsuckers that chase you down and get to the shutoff switch in the back of the lab. You don't have to fight the monolith after turning off the machine, as you can fast travel to the closest, safest area available. With both machines down, we're about halfway into the main quest line. To be honest with you, I've been having a genuine good time doing this challenge. Although it can be difficult due to the timing of the animations and the fact that melee weapons are more considered as a last resort, using the axe has got to be the funniest way of achieving the title of legend. So then you have to go to Jupiter and speak to Beard. Or Baird. I forgot how it's pronounced. He says that there's a man who travels with Strelok, a legendary stalker within the zone, just on the other side of the bar. His name is Rogue, and he asks for you to grab a rare scientific weapon in order to earn his trust. Normally the poltergeists at this segment can be annoying, but if you stick with the whole running away like a bitch strat, you'll be able to locate item number 62 and escape unharmed. Fun fact, you can actually kill poltergeists with a melee weapon. I didn't think it was possible just because the poltergeists have a minuscule hitbox and they move very fast. But if you chase after it swinging perpetually like a fucking lunatic, you'll eventually kill them. Then you have to go into the belly of the beast with Rogue, the Jupiter underground leading to Pripyat. This part isn't too frustrating. At first, you might think that having a partner with me would make this run all the more easier. Rogue's light machine gun is very powerful and he never lets go of the trigger, which can assist you if you don't feel up to directly attacking an enemy. But there's an issue with some of the NPC pathfinding in the game's files, I believe, because sometimes Rogue just gets lost and does his own thing. He let me get devoured by a horde of hungry snorks. Fucking idiot, where was he when I needed him? The biggest problem you'll face down here in this dungeon of a facility are the fucking snorks. Around every corner there are a few placed purposefully to surprise attack the player. It took me a couple of tries, but once I had the groove in order, I used speedrun strats to get by the tunnels. Also, you don't know true fear until you've ran through the entirety of the Jupiter Underground with probably 11 or 12 snorks running behind you. Afterwards, you have to kill all of the monolith guards that ambush you and Rogue. The monolith guards weren't too hard to go up against. Running behind them and swinging with a heavy attack seemed to do the trick. Always aim high for their face or head, and it's an instant kill. Now we make our way to the surface, where we have to meet up with Strelok for the first time. In order to get some answers, the asshole wants us to help his butt buddies first and then report back to him. Snitch usually asks for a simple medical item, which you can either spawn into the game or go on a wild goose chase for. Strelok asks you to go into Lab X8 and find important documents essential to his research. But Rogue is the only one who gives us an absolute madman's task: to kill the biggest beast in the game, the pseudo-giant. In case you don't know, killing the pseudo-giant at this point in the game is supposed to be the player's first big, epic hero moment. Much like turning off the brain-fucking machines, killing the giant must be done in order to progress the story. So, I took my axe and I contemplated multiple different approaches, and I died again and again and again and again. Before too long, I remembered that I gave myself permission to use the bullet time mod, which slows time down enough for you to get a running start and avoid a lethal lethal hit from the beast. Circling around him and perpetually swinging won't do the trick either. You'll have to bait him into coming closer to you each and every time before you swing. I used the abandoned bus in the parking lot to get him close, then when his back was turned I went for the strike. Due to his extremely powerful slam attack, I tried to take only one swing at a time, then I'd back away and quick save. Using this strat, eventually I did the impossible. I killed a pseudo-giant using only an axe. I did not think that was possible. From this point on, the game amps up the difficulty with this challenge. The final task you have as the player is to raid the Chernobyl power plant and remove any leftover monolithians that are trying to regain control of the facility and the wish granter. There's an onslaught of fighting you have to do in order to get by, but after some initial patience and long drawn out battles, I managed to kill them in Pripyat with little to no hassle. Hell, I even accidentally killed Eidolon. Yeah, that's right. You know Eidolon, the most powerful being within the Monolith faction? He wields a supernatural artifact that grants him invulnerability to all ballistic damage like bullets, but all it takes is one swing to the head and he's done. Are you kidding me? Strelok couldn't kill this moron with all the guns in the world, yet I stopped him with a wooden axe? It's actually hilarious. Next, we have to push deep into the underground of the CNPP. In order to get there, you have to first run your ass across large terrain and hopefully be quick enough to speedrun past the enemies inside. The interior of the CNPP was fucking nonsensical and ridiculous. Imagine you're a mouse, right? And you're locked in a room full of starving tigers. And the tigers have armor and guns. That's what it felt like to complete this segment using only an axe. Often I would try to use the slow motion to my advantage, but I would fail more times than succeed. Truth be told, there's just a lot of guys down here, so my strat was to kill one or two of them at a time, then retreat somewhere safe, quick save, rinse and repeat. I was doing pretty good until my game crashed on me. Twice. Great. Right as soon as I get to the end and the game begins crashing. What fucking luck. Anyways, after so much time spent running around and jumping like a fucking hyped up hyena, I drove my axe into the last guy and officially completed the quest. It wasn't easy though. I definitely died a lot. I grabbed the shard of the monolith, I handed it to Strelok, and I fast traveled back to Sidorovich, spoke to him, and that's about it. This challenge was certainly interesting, but not for the reason that you think. I was beyond surprised to discover as many things as I did while wielding the axe, such as killing the pseudo-giant and Eidolon, but without the bullet time mod, I feel like it would have been way harder to achieve. Not impossible, but definitely nowhere near a breeze. Guys, this challenge was so much fun to make, and even though I kinda cheesed it with mods, I don't doubt that the entirety of the main story can be completed using only an axe, or any melee weapon really, so long as you attack people one at a time, focus your energy on getting behind cover when needed, and remember that you don't have to kill everybody, you'll be able to finish it in no time. So the answer, long and short, is yes, Anomaly can be completed using only an axe. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm stoked to get some more content out now that I have so much more free time. It took a while for us to get everything moved into the new house, but we've officially settled down and it feels super great to be here. I'm super hyped to get to work again. I'll see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching. Thanks again for watching the video, ladies and gents. Leave a like, comment, and as always, enjoy yourself. Hopefully you stick around.